So if you're familiar with our past videos, you know that I've spent a lot of time shredding surf skates, taking them apart, and doing my best to explain how they feel to ride. But honestly, I've been missing a vital part, which is the truck geometry, the base plate angles. What does it all mean? And I think it's important to just share like my background in skateboarding. When I was 5 years old, I did traditional skateboarding, like the popsicle shape. The whole time, like I never heard anyone talk about the truck geometry. What's the base plate angle? Like stuff like that is just, it was super foreign to me. It was more so just focused on skating rather than how can you manipulate your setup. And it makes sense because with longboarding and surf skating, you're more focused on how deep you can carve, how you can add more stability if you're going faster. Even if you don't want to go that crazy, just having a basic understanding of base plate angles is important because knowledge is a tool and you can take that knowledge to manipulate your setup to fit your riding style. So how this video came to be, Paris reached out to us. They sent us angled riser pads and 2 sets of trucks. I just want to make it clear that this isn't a sponsored video in any way. Basically just said share your experience. And so that's awesome because it enables us to make more videos without having to spend more money. It's a win-win in my opinion. So let's get into it. Now, before I share my riding experience, I think it's important for us to get a basic understanding of base plate angles and why they matter. When you hear someone refer to a truck as being 43 degrees, 45 degrees, 50 degrees, they're referring to the angle where the hanger meets the base plate. This is referred to as the base plate angle. And you can manipulate these angles by either wedging, which is increasing the angle, or de-wedging, which is decreasing the angle. And by using these angled riser pads, you can affect how your board turns and leans. Now, it's important to know that turning and leaning are 2 separate things. Real quick, before I do my best to describe turning versus leaning, I'm gonna link some helpful resources in the description below that helped me understand and grasp these concepts. But say you're cruising and you wanna make a sharp turn. What do? You either shift your weight to your toe side or heel side. You lean to the edge of your deck. So lean is exactly how it sounds. It's when your deck shifts towards the ground. Lean creates pressure, which as a result makes your truck hanger turn in the pivot cup. Now, how much your truck turns depends on the degree of your base plate. So this is why using angled riser pads can manipulate the way your board leans and turns. Usually lower degree trucks, if I'm not mistaken, are used for higher speeds because they offer more stability because they have more lean and less turn. So you're less likely to get speed wobbles. And a higher degree truck offers more turn and less lean, which is obviously more responsive and better for carving. So wedging adds more responsiveness because it's increasing the base plate angle, and de-wedging adds more stability because you're decreasing the base plate angle, which decreases the ability for the truck hanger to pivot. Okay, now I'm gonna share my riding experience with angled riser pads. The first variation I tried was wedging a 7-degree angled riser pad under the front 50-degree truck. Then the back truck, I didn't wedge or de-wedge it. I just added a 1/4-inch riser pad. So the front truck was 57 degrees and the back truck was 50 degrees. As a result, obviously the front truck was more responsive. I could get deeper carves out of it. And the back truck, it just stayed at 50 degrees. So I feel like it handled higher speeds well. But then again, that statement could be subjective because it just comes down to your riding style, how experienced you are, and your riding environment. The next setup I tried was wedging both the front 50-degree truck and the back 50-degree truck. So both of the trucks then were 57 degrees. This was a setup that felt super responsive to me, and I was honestly surprised. I didn't think you could get that feel out of an RKP. Anytime I picked up some speed, I felt speed wobbles kind of creeping in a little. I was able to fight it off, but it just felt sketchy. So I wouldn't recommend it if you're crushing hills. Because of the higher base plate angles, this was the most responsive setup that I tried. And lastly, I did a split setup. So I took a 50 in the front and turned it to a 57 with an angled riser pad. And then I put a 43 in the back with a normal 1/4 inch riser pad. This obviously offered more stability in the back and more responsiveness in the front. I felt like it was a really nice combination for my riding style where I could get deeper with my carves, but when I picked up speed, there wasn't speed wobbles kind of creeping in. I felt like it was a nice balance. So I obviously have a lot more stuff to learn when it comes to base plate angles, angled riser pads, wedging, de-wedging, but I hope by me sharing my experience, it's helped you gain a clearer picture of why people use angled riser pads in terms of responsiveness, stability. The giveaway winner was announced via email the other day, so you should have gotten an email announcing that if you entered. We're gonna be running another giveaway soon, so make sure to sign up to our email newsletter. It'll be linked in the description below. Just put your email in and you'll automatically be entered. Drop a comment below if you have experience with angled riser pads. Yeah, have you wedged? Have you de-wedged? Like, what's good?